Hi everybody, today's video is going to be how do we better use our brains. Currently, research shows we use about 10% of our brains, meaning that we leave 90% on the table where we're not really utilizing what we've been given in order to master our lives. For most of us, we've been trained to use the left side of our brain, which is more logical and analytical. The right side of our brain, which dominates our intuition and our body memory, can teach us more than we ever thought possible. And when Albert Einstein tells us that intuition is really the key to success, it's something that we can believe in. But talking about Albert Einstein, he used visualization as a tool for manifestation. It's one of the first steps. I did a video, I'm going to put the link below, that goes over the 4 steps that he suggests. We picture ourselves doing something that we want to do. So if we want to learn how to ride a bike, we see ourselves riding the bike. If we want to learn a language, we see ourselves learning the language easily. And when we keep imagining this, it goes into our subconscious, which is the right side of our brain, and research shows there's more of a probability that we're going to learn how to do that. Another factor in learning something and to retain it is to let go of the fear. Fear of criticism, fear of failure, fear of being embarrassed. All of that is left brain thinking. It's when the mind starts telling us that we're going to make a fool out of ourselves or we're going to do something wrong, and we just put the brakes on and we don't do it. Also relaxing. We want to do things like yoga, meditating, listening to music. The best music to listen to when you're doing any kind of relaxation is 1 beat per second. And the music that follows this rhythm is Bach. Obviously, it's music that you're going to have to like. So if you don't like Bach, there is other music that you can listen to that mirrors that beat. Another aspect that we may want to consider is physical. One of the things that I have to think about all the time and be conscious of is my posture. That is incredibly important in order for our brains to work properly. We need to be able to not be crunched up and be able to be stretched out and let our energy flow and let more oxygen get to our brains, as well as eating properly. That's something that I love to do. I love to eat well, but it's something that a lot of us neglect, and we don't realize that by eating foods that are nutritionally deficient with a ton of calories is doing more harm than good. Of course, it's delicious to have a piece of cake. I'm not saying never to have a piece of cake, but when we start living a lifestyle that revolves around very caloric foods that don't have any nutritional value, it not only affects our body and our aging, it affects our brain's ability to function. And that is so important. And I know people love to drink, they love to relax, and they love to do all of those things, but in moderation would probably do you more good than harm. And the last piece of it is to move. It's getting oxygen to the brain. So yes, you want to be able to walk, and the yoga is great, and you want to be able to exercise, but it's also not sitting in front of the TV for hours and hours, being in a passive state, and your brain is not really functioning at full capacity. Now, I know you TV people out there are going to say, oh, it decompresses me, and I love it, and it helps me relax, and that's great. But for it to become an excess is when we start becoming a little bit brain lazy. And that's not something that's going to help us in order to make decisions, learn new things, and be able to move on in the best way possible. It's really about tapping into our intuition. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we've been given a brain. We've been given the gift of a brain. Once we start going into our subconscious, we start going further into our intuition, we start relaxing, we start letting go of that inner or outer critic, and we become more creative. Our minds start loosening up, and it starts letting go, and it starts working more and more in our favor. Why not utilize as much as possible? At 10% is just so nominal. And think about even if we picked it up to 20% or 22%, and what this world could be if more people used the gifts that have been given to us, how it can make us more fulfilled, useful, and helpful to others. I hope this video helps you in some way. If you like it, please click on that little thumb, make a comment if you'd like, and subscribe if you haven't already. I always love hearing from you, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. And until next time, I hope you live the life that you want to live, how you want to live it, at your very best.